Bold and beautiful, shrink, Taylor didn't mean to catch feelings for Deacon. In fact, she tried to turn him away as a patient. But as Rebecca Budig tells Soaps.com, the heart wants what the heart wants. And in the Friday, Jan 30 song episode, Taylor's heart is finally going to get what it wants. Even as Taylor and Deacon give in to their mutual attraction and lock lips, in the back of their minds, they are well aware that their odds of making it as a couple are slim to none. There are various reasons why it's wrong, Budig points out. He's married to Sheila, he's her patient. Steffi would be devastated if they were together. There's just a lot going against them, she continues. And although Taylor knows all of this, she's still really drawn to him and feels there's something that happens when they're together. She feels seen and heard, and in a way that she hasn't before. When at last Taylor and Deacon are completely honest with each other, it's in a mature way, Budig previews. I like that they're like two adults that they're talking about the elephant in the room, which is that they have feelings for each other, and it's not a normal situation. Already, Sheila has said that if Deacon ever crossed the line with Taylor, she'd kill the world-renowned psychiatrist for a second time. So could Taylor and Deacon's romance actually end before it even gets a chance to begin? It's hard for Taylor to see him with Sheila, Budig admits, because she feels so much for him, but she wants the best for him at the end of the day. Ultimately, whether that's with her or someone else, so I don't think Taylor wants to break up their marriage necessarily. Today, we're sending a big happy birthday to the second daughter of the bold and the beautiful Alum Darren Brooks and his wife Kelly Kruger. Though little Gemma Winter is now 4, 3 years back to celebrate her first birthday, her proud parents had posted a video filled with memorable moments, and Kruger shared, "I can't tell you how many times I cried, going through that the past year in photos. I only added a handful here, but wow, did that year fly by." And we added a few posts below since, which includes some of Gemma's firsts, to honor her special day. "I didn't think my heart could get any bigger after having Everly," Kruger continued, while reflecting back to having the couple's first daughter. "But Gemma Winter proved it could double in size, and then some." She then talked about how proud they were of their little Gem and how she's changed their lives in the best way possible. It all started a year ago when Brooks and Kruger welcomed Gemma into their fold. "Thank you to Kelly, the rock star, for letting me have another one with you," Brooks expressed. "So glad this one takes after you too." For Gemma's first Mother's Day with her mama, she and her big sister Everly dressed in jean jackets to match the special lady in their life. This photo was one for the baby book, as the family dressed up as players from the popular Jurassic Park franchise. "Welcome to Jurassic World!" Kruger cheered. "Where Everly and Chance are dinosaurs and Gemma is Jeff Goldblum." And for her first Thanksgiving, the family posted a video to show how grateful Kruger was for her fans, then let everyone know that they were cooking up a storm and how Gemma was chewing on her pack and play, while their pup was terrorizing Kruger's mom's senior dog. Here's an adorable family pic where Gemma waved to the camera as her dad, mom, and sister smiled oh so brightly alongside her. Gemma was snug as bug in a rug attached to her mom's chest, while Kruger made her special spinach banana muffins. "You have to watch the video," where the actress insisted, "You don't even taste the spinach." And the mother-daughter duo even took time out for a dance party. Gemma looked so adorable as she and the family dressed in blue for Mother's Day 23. When Brooks thanked his wife for giving him the 2 most beautiful, smart, kind, tough, strong daughters a guy could ever ask for. Along with her sister, Gemma was on hand to help when her mom tried the Beckham Dance Challenge on their dad. For those who don't know what that is, it's based off a video where soccer superstar David Beckham and his wife Victoria danced to Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers' 1983 duet, Islands in the Stream. For her second birthday, little Gem was treated to a magical garden theme with fairies and butterflies party. And Christmas 2024 brought a new family member to their fold as Gemma and the gang welcomed new pup Coco Chanel. The bold and the beautiful's must-watch moments for Friday, January 30th include Sheila feeling grateful to Taylor for saving her marriage to Deacon. Meanwhile, Taylor and Deacon share a special moment. Plus, Ivy insists that Dylan leave town. Brooke and Ridge were glad to have RJ back in Los Angeles. The family spent time catching up and talking about what his return could mean moving forward. It was Ivy who encouraged Elektra to come to LA and helped her secure a position at Forrester Creations. The move has worked out well so far, with Elektra already traveling for business alongside Steffi. During the trip, Elektra and Steffi met with Dottie, a longtime friend of Stephanie Forrester, and her assistant, Joseph. The meeting went well and left both women feeling positive about the future. Back in Los Angeles, Dylan crossed a line Elektra had previously set after Will brushed it off as harmless. While babysitting Hayes together, it became clear that Dylan and Will were growing closer. Finn later informed Steffi that Hayes had been left with Dylan and Will. Elektra learned about it from Steffi. Later at Will's, Dylan practiced ballet and ended up tumbling onto him on the couch, a moment Ivy happened to witness through the window. Meanwhile, Taylor and Deacon revealed their feelings for each other. He went to her for counseling after learning about Sheila's big lie. While Taylor set a boundary with Sheila that they can't be friends due to her counseling relationship with Deacon. Of course, Taylor failed to set appropriate boundaries with Deacon. The bold and the beautiful spoilers reveal that there are 3 ways Katie Logan Spencer's claws could come out against Brooke Logan Forrester. The sister showdowns are bound to get much worse in the months ahead. So let's talk about what's in store for Katie and Brooke. 1. Katie rubs Eric's new job in Brooke's face. Katie and Eric Forrester are keeping his lead designer role under wraps for now, but that secret's bound to blow up sooner or later. There'll come a day when Brooke and Ridge Forrester find out that Eric is working at Logan. You can bet Brooke's going to rip into Katie once that happens, but Katie will fire back in a big way. Katie may essentially rub this victory in Brooke's face and suggest Brooke's just mad that Eric chose to support Katie over her. It's easy to imagine Katie gloating and perhaps acting like Brooke's ego is the real problem here. Eric went where he was finally appreciated, so Katie will think Brooke and Ridge need to accept that they pushed him into retirement before he was ready. Now Eric has a chance to make Katie's fashion house a huge success, so B&B spoilers say she'll play that news up to Brooke sooner or later. 2. Katie slams Brooke in the press. At some point, Katie may also use the press to strike back against Brooke. Maybe Katie will give some interviews that express disappointment over Brooke's lack of support. Katie could make it seem like Brooke's jealous and get the public rooting for the underdog Logan sister in this situation. With Eric's Forrester fame in her corner, Katie could make a splash in the media and infuriate Brooke in the process. 3. Katie plays to win in fashion battle. Of course, a storyline like this is inevitably going to turn into a battle on the runway. Once that happens, Katie will work to prove her new fashion house is worthy of competing in the big leagues. Eric will make sure Katie's ready with an epic debut collection, but Katie will oversee everything and approve decisions along the way. By the time the fashion face-off arrives, Katie will hopefully be prepared to defeat Brooke and everyone else at Forrester Creations. The bold and the beautiful, spoilers say Katie and Brooke's feud will bring some fierce moments, so stay tuned for updates on all the chaos. The bold and the beautiful spoilers hint that some wedding crasher chaos could be in the works. Will an uninvited guest derail Daphne Rose and Carter Walton's big day? Carter and Daphne aren't exactly the most exciting couple on canvas. This pairing has always felt a bit thrown together, without a lot of substance to back up their love. Of course, that's nothing new for Carter, who seems to fall hard for just about any lovely lady who crosses his path. Nevertheless, Carter claims it's different this time around, and that Daphne is the only woman for him. Unfortunately, B&B has now given Carter and Daphne a dull wedding location too. Carter suggested getting married in the Forrester showroom, which is disappointing since fans already see that set all the time. It would have been nicer if the show had delivered a more intriguing wedding venue, but the decision has been made. On the bright side, there's still room for some drama to happen at the ceremony itself. Everything feels a little too easy for Carter and Daphne when it comes to the bright future they're planning. There was supposed to be a storyline last fall about someone from Daphne's past coming back into the picture. Daphne's world was poised to get turned upside down, but the story was either scrapped or delayed. If it was just a case of B&B postponing Daphne's past shocker, then maybe her wedding could bring someone to Los Angeles. We could certainly imagine a former flame barging in and objecting, or an estranged relative popping up to witness the nuptials. We know that Carter and Daphne will successfully tie the knot, but there could still be a curveball or two on their wedding day. It'd be great to see some excitement for Daphne and Carter, since not much is happening for them at the moment. Carter and Daphne may also face some infertility issues based on some hints that are dropping, so their relationship will be tested down the road. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say Daphne and Carter have some unpleasant surprises coming up, so we'll bring you updates on any horrible news ahead. In the January 29th episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, Will did something he's never done with Elektra before. He opened up to Dylan about the trauma that Luna caused in his life. He felt like a burden in Elektra's life because of everything that had unfolded over the last few months. Dylan and Will trauma bonded while Ivy watched them through the window. Will got vulnerable and opened up to Dylan about Elektra and Luna. He blames himself for what had happened. Luna tried to tear them apart for months, but Will finally came to terms with what happened. Luna got him drunk and took advantage of him. Because of everything that happened afterward, Will felt like a burden in Elektra's life. He still blames himself for all the pain she's gone through. Dylan assured him that he shouldn't blame himself. He was a victim of Luna's crimes. The two trauma bonded over the chaos that Luna caused in Los Angeles. Dylan is as much of a victim as Will was. Luna kept her locked in a closet while she tried to shoot Steffi at Hayes' school. Will admitted to Dylan that he's never opened up to Elektra like this before. He's just grateful that he finally has people in his life that he can count on. One of those people includes Dylan. He could tell how good a person she is. Ivy doesn't think Will and Dylan's living arrangement is proper. She's uttered it many times, especially as she spied on them through the window. Ivy doesn't want to admit it, but she thinks Elektra deserves someone better than Will. She knows what Spencer men are like, after all. Ivy was romantically involved with Liam when he was already entangled in a complicated web involving Steffi and Hope. She is probably harboring a grudge against all of them. Later in the episode, Ivy entered the guest house and confronted Dylan. She told her to stop trying to steal her friend's boyfriend. It's likely that Ivy will inform Elektra about what happened, which won't help matters. Things are about to get even more complicated for Will and Elektra, no matter how they feel about each other. Will has his work already cut out for him. He'll have to keep convincing Elektra that he loves her. He already feels like he's a burden in her life. But it's clear that he's much more comfortable with someone like Dylan. He feels seen and understood. Most importantly, Will feels like himself around Dylan. We can see the young lovers growing distant as Will and Dylan grow even closer. How far will they go? When Ivy returned to The Bold and the Beautiful, she brought her niece Elektra. Ivy has become a mentor to Elektra both at work and her personal life. Ivy and Elektra have a strong bond, and some fans suspect it might go deeper than aunt and niece. Ivy and Elektra have become quite the duo on B&B. The aunt and niece are Forrester Creations' leading jewelry designers, and their lines have become a success. But when they're not busy designing, most of the time they're discussing Elektra's love life. Ivy has been a great support to Elektra as she's dealt with one challenge after another in her relationship with Will. First, there was Luna, and now Elektra is worried about her and Will's new roommate, Dylan. Ivy has tried to be supportive of Elektra's relationship with Will. However, she isn't shy about voicing her concerns. While Ivy's protectiveness over Elektra seems sweet, some fans are suspicious. On Reddit, a fan theory is floating around that Ivy and Elektra could be more than aunt and niece. I remember years ago, Ivy was not so judgmental and just plain weird. Is it possible she is Elektra's secret mom? The original poster asked. That would be one heck of a storyline of Ivy being Elektra's mother, wrote one fan. However, one viewer isn't buying the theory. Elektra is about 13 to 14 years younger than Ivy. It's unlikely that Ivy got pregnant at 13. Ivy and Elektra being mother and daughter would be a huge twist and bring some soapy drama. As for whether B&B goes this direction remains to be seen. But one thing that's certain is that Ivy's going to interfere in Elektra and Will's relationship. After witnessing a close moment between Will and Dylan, Ivy takes matters into her own hands. She confronts Dylan and orders her to leave, which won't go as planned. Since Dylan won't listen to reason, Ivy has no choice but to tell Elektra. Elektra will have to decide who to believe, her aunt, her boyfriend, or her friend. One of Elektra's relationships will be shattered by Ivy's confession. So, will Ivy and Elektra's bond be broken forever? Or will Elektra give Will the boot, leaving him available for Dylan? Ivy's becoming tightly wound on the bold and the beautiful, and it's raising some red flags. There should be a middle ground in her protective nature as she helps Elektra navigate her first big romance. But Ivy's begun to dictate how Elektra spends her time, and how she should feel about the choices Will makes. Her behavior is reminiscent of her late cousin Allie, who'd went from being a shy, reserved, and open-hearted young woman to a judgmental, controlling, and violent person who attacked their cousin Steffi. Considering Allie lost her life in the confrontation that stemmed from a mental breakdown she was suffering at the time, perhaps we should be worried about Ivy. It's strange that Ivy is now concerned about what's appropriate. While she had entered B&B new to romance and intimacy, she'd kept her views squarely on what was right for her. She waited until she was ready to spend the night with Liam, and she did exactly what Elektra is doing now with Will, occasionally sleeping over and hanging out at his home most of the time. As the years went on, Ivy no longer worried about being proper. In fact, she had more than one story beat that saw her throwing decorum out the window. So, this sudden tip back toward what's proper is ringing alarm bells, especially since she's trying to influence Elektra's opinion on what's appropriate in her own relationship. Their phone call in the Wednesday, January 28th episode was eyebrow-raising. Ivy supported Elektra's feelings about Dylan living on the same property as Will, but she didn't try to soothe her concerns. Instead, she reiterated that the arrangement wasn't appropriate and made Elektra feel worse about the situation. It was a sharp contrast to Steffi, who acknowledged how Elektra felt, but also reminded her that Will's in love with her and Dylan's her friend. Ivy, who was supposed to be sick, drove to the beach house to check up on Will and Dylan. For someone so focused on appropriate behavior, what she chose to do was highly inappropriate. While Ivy did catch the roommates in a compromising position, the fact that she was outside the window spying on them proves she's far too involved in Elektra's relationship. Her repeated refrain of "it's not proper" made it seem like that's something she's stuck on mentally for some reason. Allie went through a similar issue when her mental health was deteriorating. She'd fixate on the relationships her family members were in. She'd make judgments about their lifestyles and angrily lambaste them for their choices. When her condition worsened, so did her caustic words and insults, until finally she became violent. Allie's anger issues were based on the loss of her mother, Darla, and the bullying she endured while in school. Ivy's growing investment in Elektra's love life might be due to her not having her own romance. She wants a connection with someone, but it hasn't worked out. The kisses she shared with Liam at Il Giardino didn't lead to a rekindling of their romance, and when she tried to pursue him after his near-death experience, she learned his heart was set on hope. It's doubtful Ivy is trying to live vicariously through her niece, but their age gap does mean she has influence over her. She may be asserting her opinion because Elektra listens to it, but dictating how Elektra should feel is a slippery slope. It could cause Ivy to spiral if she's no longer being listened to. Getting too close to someone else's romance is never a good idea. If Ivy's grip on what's appropriate for someone not involved loosens, she could find that she's the one that breaks her niece's heart and not Will. Encouraging Elektra to give in to her insecurities and worst tendencies is exactly the behavior that would send anyone running for the hills. We'll be keeping an eye on Ivy. Hopefully, she isn't headed for a mental breakdown like Allie. Will might think he's completely innocent on the bold and the beautiful. However, he's acting far from it. Will disrespected his relationship with Elektra by failing to consider her needs and concerns. Will claims to love and respect Elektra, but he sure doesn't act like it. It was wrong for him to invite Dylan to dinner and act like they were on a date. Instead, he could have just packaged the leftovers and given them to Dylan to eat in the guest house. But he entertained the idea, despite knowing his girlfriend's insecurities. They also went through an ordeal with Luna, who tried to tear them apart. Will is aware that Elektra gets upset when he and Dylan are alone together, but he's dismissed her feelings. Rather than respecting Elektra's wishes, he's choosing to set his own rules since it's his beach house. While he's right that it's his beach house, he also needs to consider his girlfriend's feelings on this matter. He's been too laid back with Dylan. Their interaction has been more flirtatious than platonic. It can be hard to take Will seriously, as he doesn't come across as boyfriend material to either woman. He seems to enjoy the attention of having two women around. Will's closeness to Dylan could get him into trouble. On the Wednesday, January 28th episode, he asked her to perform a ballet dance for him. He sat on the couch as if he were enjoying the view. Then, Dylan tripped and landed in Will's lap. The two looked as if they were about to kiss, or at least wanted to. Meanwhile, Ivy watched through the window and will confront Dylan about it immediately. Dylan has been trying to be respectful and has offered to stay in the guest house, but Will encouraged her to hang out with him in the main house. In recent episodes, he flirted with Dylan, even in front of Hayes. Will should own full responsibility if he cheats. It's on him if he hasn't learned from his past with Luna. Elektra needs to communicate her concerns and insecurities with Will, so they remain on the same page moving forward. Sydney Bullock shared her hidden talent on The Bold and the Beautiful. Her alter ego, Dylan, revealed to Will that she's a ballet dancer. She performed a dance for him after Hayes went to bed. This leads Ivy to catch them in a compromising position. As for Bullock, she shares something in common with her co-star, Romy Parks, who also practices ballet in her free time. Dylan shared her love for Dance with Will on the Wednesday, January 28th episode. Hayes asked her to perform a dance for both of them. Dylan claimed that it wouldn't be appropriate for that moment. However, she thought it would be more appropriate to dance alone for Will later, after Hayes went to bed. Later, Dylan entered the beach house in her ballet costume, while Will put on classical music. She performed a dance for him as he watched from the sofa. Dylan tripped over the sofa and onto Will's lap. He caught her, and the two were tempted to kiss. Meanwhile, Ivy watched them through the window as she said to herself, "It's not proper. It's not proper at all." B&B fans found out that Bullock shares something in common with her co-star Romy Parks, who plays Poppy. According to Bullock's 7 Things to Know, the actress loves contemporary dance. She's often practiced up to 20 hours per week. Bullock is an expert in modern dance, jazz, tap, and ballet. Park has shared her love for ballet on Instagram. 8 weeks ago, Park shared a series of photos and clips of herself rehearsing with her teacher. "When I'm not working, at the Grand Academy of Ballet offers serenity and beauty to balance the hustle and bustle of my life," Park wrote in the caption. Will Bullock's and Park's interest in ballet bring them together on B&B? It's highly unlikely. Dylan previously confessed that she ran down Luna, which led to her untimely death. That moment left her with guilt, shame, and trauma. Meanwhile, Poppy is relieved that her daughter is dead. But if Dylan's career as a teacher doesn't work out, she could become a ballet teacher or open a studio with Poppy. Do you think Poppy and Dylan should cross paths? Sound off below in the comments section. RJ Forrester is not going to have to work very hard on The Bold and the Beautiful to score a date with his fake cousin Elektra. As a matter of fact, Will Spencer Jr. is going to make it easy for him. Will has no idea he has some competition for Elektra Forrester, but he's about to find out. Here's what's coming up next week on B&B. Spoilers down below. Elektra Forrester will lay down the law when she returns from San Francisco and finds out Will Spencer was canoodling with Miss Dylan while she was away. She might even give Will an ultimatum and tell him that she's not coming back to the beach house until he kicks Dylan out. In the meantime, RJ Forrester will be pumped when he learns about Will and Dylan's shenanigans. Bold and the Beautiful spoilers tease that Elektra and RJ Forrester will start spending more time together at the office, and she will open up to him about her relationship woes. RJ will be quick to tell Elektra Forrester how amazing she is and how lucky Will Spencer is to have her. Actually, RJ thinks that Elektra could do much better than Dollar Bill Jr. When Will Spencer finds out that RJ shot his shot with Elektra Forrester, he's going to confront Ridge's son and cause a scene. If he's not fired from Forrester Creations by then, he will be soon. B&B spoilers have teased a war erupting between Ridge and Bill's sons, and it looks like it will be over Elektra. Do you think Elektra and RJ would make a cute couple? Or is the whole cousin thing a little too weird for you? Wouldn't it be easier if Will just kicked Dylan out of his garage? The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the week of February 2nd suggest some twists. For one thing, Ivy Forrester will try to push Dylan out of Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Steffi Forrester Finnegan could realize Taylor Hayes is getting even closer to Deacon Sharp. Keep reading to find out what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Let's start off with Ivy, who busts Dylan on Will Spencer's lap at the beach house. The woman can't believe what she saw when peering into the windows. Although she had a bad feeling about Dylan, she never expected to see that. Of course, fans know that Dylan was dancing for Will, but tripped. That is when she fell on Will's lap. Ivy is missing a bit of context here, which could negatively affect Electra Forrester's relationship. Will truly believes that Dylan is a kind and good person, so he might think that Ivy is really overstepping. When Electra comes back to Los Angeles, she will hear all about what Ivy witnessed. However, Will might have a totally different story, and so will Dylan. They will insist that it was innocent, and they weren't doing anything wrong. However, this could have Electra blowing up and running off. It would be easy to see RJ Forrester comforting Electra. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the next episode reveal that Steffi will freak out over her mother. Steffi has told Taylor repeatedly to stop seeing Deacon. However, Taylor and Deacon can't seem to keep away from each other. Everyone will try to protect Taylor by keeping the truth from Sheila Carter Sharp. So far, Sheila keeps gushing about Taylor saving her marriage. However, at some point, she is going to see, hear, or suspect something. There is also Eric Forrester, who is secretly working for Katie Logan Spencer. Eric is going to make sure that Katie's fashion house is a success right out the gate. However, this will cause a family war. Just wait until Brooke Logan Forrester and Ridge Forrester learn about the latest betrayal to their family legacy. How do you think Bridge will react when they learn about Katie's new lead designer? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of February 2nd, 2026? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. This week on The Bold and the Beautiful, Will Spencer Jr. will have a playdate with Ms. Dillon while his girlfriend is away. Electra Forrester is busy making boss moves in San Fran, and her boyfriend is home playing house with his roomie and Hayes Finnegan. Everyone involved can see that this is not going to end well. Will Spencer Jr. has been loyal and dedicated to Electra Forrester since they met last year. But is he the one Electra should actually be worried about? Dollar Bill and Katie Logan's son has been intrigued with the homeless art teacher that killed his baby mama with her can ever since she arrived on Electra's doorstep. He literally moved Ms. Dillon into his garage after knowing her for 24 hours. Since Dillon moved in, Will has been obsessed with playing Superman and helping her find a job and get her life back on track. Rumor has it, since the Forresters shut her down, Will is going to have his mom, Katie, hire Dillon at her new fashion company instead. It's interesting that he and Electra got together when he saved her, and now he is saving another girl. Electra Forrester has already threatened Ms. Dillon and ordered her to stay away from her boyfriend/landlord. She is so worried about Dillon seducing Will Spencer. Did she ever consider it could be the other way around? Viewers at home know that Electra's man keeps insisting they spend time together, even after his girlfriend forbade it. Electra is still dealing with some trust issues after her man was taken advantage of by Luna Nozawa. But she might be in for a shock in upcoming weeks. Is Will Spencer going to confess that he has feelings for Dillon and it's not one-sided? Valentine's Day is right around the corner on The Bold and the Beautiful, and that means that love will be in the air at Forrester Creations. On top of the V-Day frenzy, the Forresters will also be in wedding mode. Will Thomas be able to make it through the holiday single without getting caught up the all of the romance? Here's what's coming up next month on The Bold and the Beautiful for Valentine's Day. Keep reading for all the details. Thomas Forrester has been on his best behavior since he returned to work on Hope for the Future, but will he get hit with Cupid's arrow and decide he's in love with Hope Logan again? Nobody believed he was over Hope. To be honest, we never thought the duo would have lasted this long in the HFTF design room without Thomas trying to flirt with his ex. When Thomas came back to work, Hope Logan was skeptical because of their history. The Forrester heir swore he just wanted to finish what he started with Hope for the Future and wasn't interested in Liam's wife. So far, so good. But spoilers hint that could all change in February. It's impossible to not get caught up in the excitement of Valentine's Day, with all of the hearts, bouquets, and chocolates being passed around. Everyone at the office will be coupled up, except for poor Thomas Forrester. No one believes that he's really over Hope Logan. He's just a good actor. Is he just waiting for the perfect moment to make his move? With Liam Spencer busy working late house helping Beatty set up their new company, Hope might start to feel a little neglected. If she ends up burning the late-night oil at the office with Thomas Forrester on Valentine's Day, anything could happen. Do you think that Thomas is really over Hope Logan? Or will he get hit with Cupid's arrow and profess his love for his ex on Valentine's Day? Will Hope be able to stay loyal to her husband this time around? The Bold and the Beautiful, spoilers for Thursday, January 29th, 2026, reveal Ivy meddling when it's really none of her business. Ivy Forrester just wanted to check on how poor Will Spencer was faring when his girlfriend was out of town for just one night. Surely, he had to be in a desperate state without Electra Forrester. But nope. Instead, she found Will enjoying a close moment with Dylan and was furious. Dylan is soon going to learn that Aunt Ivy is very much like Electra and is ready to put her in her place. Ivy warns Dylan to stay away from Will. He is Electra's property and nobody else can have him. Ivy pretty much sounds just like Electra, so Dylan should be used to it by now. Will Dylan defend herself, or will she just nod and agree with everything Ivy is saying? Perhaps Will walk in on this exchange and wonder what the heck is going on. Since Electra isn't there, he is going to have to assure Ivy that Electra is the only one for him. Now that their successful business trip is over, Electra and Steffi Forrester Finnegan are on their way back to Los Angeles and have some time to talk. Steffi can tell that something is bothering Electra, so Electra just comes right out and tells her that she thinks that Dylan is about to horn in on her relationship with Will. Maybe Electra should also tell Steffi that as soon as she saw RJ Forrester, the room spun and her jaw was on the floor. Electra thinks she is the only one who is allowed to look in another direction, and Will has to remain her loyal little puppy. Steffi is going to get an earful, and we all know she gives stellar advice. Will Steffi teach Electra how to hold on to a man with sex, the way she always tried to hang on to Liam Spencer when Hope Logan would get in the way? Bold and the Beautiful suggests Brooke Logan is itching to find out who is the new lead designer working at Logan Designs. Donna Logan, meanwhile, is about to be feeling the heat when her big sister Brooke corners her and grills her about the identity of Katie Logan's designer. We're going to talk about Brooke's intense curiosity about Katie's lead designer and how Donna may crack under pressure because she's going to hate the position she's been stuck in. So, right now, we've got Katie and Eric Forrester wanting the fact that he's the lead designer kept a secret. Katie and Eric are in agreement on this, but it's him who's more intent about the secret keeping. He told Katie and Donna that Ridge Forrester and Brooke are going to learn the hard way to respect their elders, as in him. But Donna hates this. She even suggested to Eric that instead of going to work with Katie, she thinks Eric should go back to Forrester Creations and design part-time. And of course, that's not what's best for Katie. Honestly, I don't think it's what's best for Eric at this point either, because he doesn't feel welcome there anymore. And it would be a very begrudging thing. But let's be real, Eric going back to Forrester is what's easier for Donna. That way, she won't be caught in the middle of this family mess. She wants Eric and Katie to tell Brooke that Eric is Katie's lead designer. Donna warned them that they're playing with fire by keeping this secret, and she honestly can't even believe Katie hired Eric. I mean, it wasn't so much Katie hiring him as Eric saying, "I'm your new designer," and Katie said, "Okay," because she'd be crazy not to accept it. But what Donna really hates is that to keep the secret like Eric and Katie want her to do, that means Donna's going to have to lie right in Brooke's face or do some fancy sidestepping when she's questioned. Donna recently said there are many ways this could go wrong and that Ridge and Brooke are going to go ballistic when they find out Katie and Eric are conspiring. Donna feels like she's in a tough spot. And to be fair, she really is. Eric and Katie put her there to some extent. But also you could say that it was Ridge forcing Eric into retirement and disrespecting Katie that started all of this. Further complicating it is that Eric is technically working for Bill Spencer because he's signing the paychecks as Katie's one and only investor. That right there will make Ridge lose his whole entire mind because Bill and the dressmaker despise each other. And Donna's not wrong when she assumes that Ridge is going to end up resenting Eric for all of this, including the secret keeping and the lies. We all heard Eric say that he tried to accept retirement and accept Ridge pushing him out of his own company, but Eric just can't accept it. He's pretty hurt about the whole Ridge situation, about being shoved aside when it should have been Eric's decision when to retire and leave Forrester Creations, his company, the company that he founded. Ridge went about it in the worst possible way when he blindsided Eric with that stupid surprise retirement party. Plus, Ridge has been his dismissive and disrespectful of his dad. And now Eric plans to teach Ridge and Brooke a lesson about deciding that Eric's past his prime when he is not. I think Ridge's actions tell us the truth. He talks about caring about Eric, but then he does things that contradict that, and actions do speak louder than words. We all know that. So I do think Ridge deserves a reality check and a little bit of a comeuppance. But I'm expecting Ridge and Brooke to play the victim card when it all comes out and act like Eric marched out the door and betrayed them and went to conspire with the enemy. Because that's not quite accurate, but I can see them playing that victim card. Katie offered Eric a lifeline, a chance to show that he's still got that magic dress designing mojo. But it doesn't matter if you're Team Eric or Team Ridge. The fact is, Donna is stressed out and is going to be frantic when Brooke corners her with questions. I get the feeling Donna is way more scared of Brooke than Katie is. And of course, Eric's not scared at all. Brooke knows that Katie hired a lead designer, and just as Brooke was asking who it is, Eric walked in the door of the Logan office over at the Spencer Tower, ready to keep talking to Katie about them launching the business. But then, in that moment, Eric decided on the spot to mislead Brooke, and Eric claimed that he was just up there checking out Katie's office space. So, we'll circle around to this now that Bold and the Beautiful is in February sweeps. We've been doing some other stuff for the past week or so, but we're about to get back on the rivalry, and I'm sure that Ridge and Brooke are both going to want to know who Katie hired as her lead designer. And of course, I'm sure Brooke thinks she can easily find out who it is. So, she may start with Katie, but of course, she's not going to tell Brooke that she hired Eric. And then, I think Brooke may circle around to Donna and see what she knows and what she'll tell her. Brooke already asked Donna once, and she said, "I'm staying out of it." But I can absolutely see Brooke following up and pushing Donna. We could even see Brooke telling Donna, "It's okay, I'm your big sister. You can tell me. Katie doesn't even have to know that you spilled the beans. I can keep it secret too." But Donna can't spill, because she knows as soon as Brooke and Ridge find out that Eric is the lead designer, they will go nuts. They will march right over to Logan to confront Katie and Eric. I think Donna is going to have a hard time keeping quiet once Brooke starts pressuring her. But I suspect Eric is going to insist that Donna has to keep it zipped. But that will be hard. She won't want to betray her honey bear. But I also think Brooke won't let up and will keep up the scrutiny until she can get Donna to crack and tell her who Katie hired. And it seems that Eric and Katie's big plan is likely to reveal that he's the Logan lead designer at their very first runway show, which we might see as soon as the end of February sweeps. That way, they can watch Brooke and Ridge's jaws drop as they walk out arm in arm on the runway after the showstopper is revealed. If Donna cracks and spills to Brooke, Eric and Katie are going to be ticked at her because they want to have this big reveal. The bottom line is, poor Donna is in a no-win position. No matter what she does, she's screwed because she's going to have at least one sister angry at her, whether it's Katie or whether it's Brooke. But at the end of the day, I certainly hope that Donna stays loyal to her husband Eric, because I don't think he will handle another betrayal very well after what Ridge pulled on him by surprising him and essentially kicking him to the curb. I'm really hoping that Katie and Eric can keep it a secret up until they debut their first collection. But if Brooke figures out that Donna has the information that she wants, the identity of Katie's mystery designer, I think Brooke will absolutely corner her sister, and she won't let up until Donna cracks and comes clean.